Everybody's taking pictures.
Don't look at me.
Somebody raise their hand.
Lisa, you want to get a shot from the center? Might be better.
Y'all look so handsome.
Vacuum in your chest.
How you doing, man?
How are you? Your heart.
You want to talk?
It's so crazy.
I guess MC the Save Reunion, and today we have a really, really special one that we're celebrating. I'm so happy you all can make it here today. We are here to celebrate the life of Mr. Dan Haldeman and his success story after he went into cardiac arrest on September 25th of this year. If you are familiar, or maybe if you're not, on September 14th of this year, we actually implemented a new CPR device that is made by Zoll, and it's called the ResQ. In the back, the gentleman in the back talked that we had such a positive story, and that they get to tell us a little bit about their experiences with it, because they've had quite a few with the ResQ pump and the ResQ CPR system. Transferred over here. At that point, when it's a car wreck, law enforcement, fire department, and EMS gets dispatched. The MCSO were dispatched to the call. And then fire and EMS. So everybody was actually pretty close. They all kind of came in right after the other. But fire arrived on scene first, and they were the ones that pulled you out of the vehicle. The 911 call was answered, and she's not here today, by Melissa Grindstaff. And she asked a series of questions. Someone's called and says, this man had a car wreck. And they start asking how many vehicles were involved and trying to get more information. And that's how they learned, were you in cardiac arrest? Had fire department not been so close by, the dispatcher on the phone would have been able to actually give that lady CPR instructions for her to start doing CPR on you before help arrived. They were so close that she didn't have to do that, and the fire department was able to snatch you out of the car and start doing it themselves. So the second people you met after the 911 caller was on the phone was the fire department, and you were right next to Porter Fire Station. Y'all were on 121 that day, 121, and those gentlemen were very close by. And I'm going to have you boys come up here. Gentlemen. The ResQ CPR system. And like I said, September 14th was our go-live date for the ResQ CPR. And so these gentlemen have been using the device. How many times have y'all used it, Chief Johnson?
Probably close to a dozen.
Yeah. So they've since you have had the opportunity to use this on several other patients. So they're quite experienced at this device, even after only 10 days of using it. And we did extensive training before we deployed it to the fire departments. So these gentlemen actually got you out of the car, started CPR, and then ran and retrieved the ResQ CPR device and started using it.
So, I was first on location. You were in cardiac arrest inside the vehicle. I signaled back to some of my crew, and Brandon Shafer, EO Shafer, and I pulled you out of the vehicle, started CPR on you on the side of the truck there. At that point, I think Williams Morales went back to the truck and got the device, the Zoll device, and we started using it. Medic 34 arrived on location really quick, and I gave a signal to the in-charge paramedic that we were going to be working a cardiac arrest. So kind of got the ball rolling, really. But I believe Morales was the first to use the device, correct?
I don't remember.
The ResQ pump, but it's used in conjunction with another piece of equipment. It's called the ResQ CPR System. So instead of using your hands to push on your chest, there's this plunger-looking thing. I have an example. This device here is called the ResQ pump. And so what it does is it pushes down on your chest, and then they actually use force to pull back up, and it pulls your chest up again, causing more blood to come to your heart than would just normally happen with regular CPR with your hands. And so the thought on this is that better blood flow to your heart and through your body increases your chances of survival. And there's other gentlemen here that are going to explain a little bit more about the device. They have a lot more letters behind their name that make them a lot smarter to describe the device. But we implemented this as a first responder tool and to use with the fire departments, because so often they arrive first, and it's something that they can use before EMS arrives to help increase survival. And when the medic unit arrives, they also still continue using it. So how long did we train on these before we trained all of our shifts on them?
Everybody in the Porter Fire Department was trained on using the device. There were a few people came over and did the train-the-trainer course here at the facilities in Montgomery County Hospital District. We didn't really get a lot of field experience with it after we trained on it until we started actually using it on patients. So we're supplying as much data back to the hospital district as we can on the efforts of the device.
So that was the first one you used it on?
I believe so, yes, sir.
So only in service for bashful, but I am going to brag on Porter Fire Department. I took the opportunity a couple weeks ago to brag on them as well. We've actually celebrated so many of these reunions, and not just with the rescue pump, but just CPR saves in general with these departments, with this department here that you see in front of you, especially this man, but all of these guys at Porter Fire Department have done just an amazing job, and you just really happen to be in a really good spot at the right time to have your emergency, because these guys train really hard on what they do, and they've been very successful in implementing and delivering medical care to their community as first responders. So not only are they rockstar firefighters, but they're really great at being EMTs and providing medical care as well. So we're really proud that we get to stand up here and celebrate these victories with them. So thank you guys. And we have plaques for you. Can I get you to come up here? We're going to take pictures with them. So this gentleman here is Captain Richard Mixx. And Captain Mixx, how long have you been with Porter Fire Department?
Since 2001.
All right, so a few years. Over here. All right, the next gentleman is Mr. Or Firefighter Juan Morales. All out of order. The next gentleman you have is Engine Operator Brandon Shafer. And lastly, but surely not least, is Firefighter Carrithers. They do slide on the side. He didn't have it for like 5 seconds.
Sounds about right.
Erin Krammer, I have to get used to calling you by your new last name. And her partner here, we have
Tyler Grisham.
Thank you so much. I want to call you Robert because it says Robert on all of his paperwork, and it's not. He goes by Tyler, which is your middle name. Yes, okay. So I want to keep calling him Robert, but he goes by Tyler. And these two, Tyler here is a brand new employee of MCHD. How many cardiac arrests had you had before this one?
Some, but this was my first cardiac arrest with Montgomery County.
Oh, okay. So first cardiac arrest to work with Montgomery County.
Cleared as well.
Yeah. So brand new employee. He had been on duty with Erin. So imagine Erin thinking, gosh, new employee. And she wrote this fabulous email to tell us how wonderful Tyler did on this call and how excited he was that you got to share this day with us and you had a positive outcome. So this is a really exciting event for both of them. But Tyler's first save, correct?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
first save. So we're really excited. I'm going to let you share a little bit about your experience that day.
Well, when we got there, the fire department had already started CPR. We moved you up to the sidewalk because you were in the field and it's a little bit hazardous. We moved you up to the sidewalk and continued CPR there. Firemen continued CPR. DPS arrived. Our supervisor arrived, and her and Tyler did all the drugs and IVs and all those things, and myself and DPS intubated you, and you were defibrillated several times, and then got a pulse back. So off to the hospital we went, quickly as possible. And from what I understand, you arrested there as well.
I did.
And got a defibrillator, and here you are today.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take it over.
It probably seemed a lot longer than Erin County for a few years now, and specifically at Porter for how long?
I don't know.
A while.
I've been here 8 years, probably 6 of them there.
Okay, and so Erin has the benefit of getting to work with these the guys and gals of Porter Fire Department on a very regular basis. So one thing that works to our benefit in these situations is it tends to run very smoothly when we all work together and know each other. They can yell at Erin and Erin doesn't get her feelings hurt, and Erin can yell at them and they don't get their feelings hurt, and everything just goes very smoothly because we run all these calls together. So it becomes a family event, kind of a smooth, well-oiled machine almost. So we're very fortunate that Erin and Tyler were on the, I keep wanting to call you Robert, were on the ambulance that day, and we have plaques for both of them as well. So the first, well, the young lady over there is Erin Krammer. Thank you. Oh, I'll win. And Tyler, I wrote Tyler on the plaque.
Yes.
Tyler Grisham. I know, and I almost pulled the firefighter and dropped the plaque on the floor. Great. If we can give them a round of applause. Our DPS trooper as well. So we have Trooper Lucchesi here, who went above and beyond. You can come up here. I'm going to make you come up here. And I don't. So it's actually in the mail on the way to his DPS office. I sent it on Tuesday, so we can, okay. But Erin emailed me to let me know that Trooper Lucchesi went above and beyond the call of law enforcement on the scene of an EMS procedures, and was there to help assist in patient care, holding things and handing her things, and I'll let you talk a little bit more about it. But she was so excited to let us know that this trooper participated so heavily in this call and was of such assistance, because law enforcement usually has so many other things that they have to deal with that they don't usually get that opportunity to come jump in the back of the ambulance, but he was more than willing to be helpful. Are you EMT certified as well?
No.
Or you just are around medical calls enough that
I'm around it.
Yeah, and you're good at handing things. Perfect. But I was going to let you talk about, I don't think it's often that you get to get maybe as involved as you did on this call.
No, not usually. In our job, you tend to get a little pessimistic when you get on scenes like this and see somebody in the condition you were, sir. And it's outstanding watching EMS and medical personnel work. I'm in awe standing there, and I feel like these people are saving this gentleman's life. I got to, try and do something to help. So, again, we don't get as much medical training as I think we should, but I always try and ask questions and look what these EMS professionals are doing. And it just amazes me. They're running around doing so many things, and I'm just like, I have to do something. It was a pretty simple crash scene at the time that all the attention was on the victim. And it was all I could do to just try and do what I could to help, I know this EMS supervisor here, I wanted to call her the regulator watching her work. Barking at people, telling people what to do, it is amazing. It makes me want to try and learn as most I can, and I'm really happy to be standing here now and seeing the result of their hard work, and I handed them stuff and asking questions, probably bothering them a little bit. Shut up, trooper, we're working, but God's good, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad everything worked out. So.
Thank you so much, and if we can give her enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
By the time that everybody has worked so hard to do cardiac arrest, she is the face everybody wants to see on a cardiac arrest scene, because not only is she wonderful to work with, but she's bringing the Lucas device. And so she is the regulator, but Commander Tammy Welch, if you would, Ship Commander Tammy Welch, if you would come up here, and we will get you your plaque too. For EMS, she responds to all of our high acuity calls, so bad car wrecks, any types of big traumas, very critical medical patients. We'll move over. They want to make sure in front of the. Yeah. So any type of big medical calls, you'll see our supervisors on there. Tammy, how long have you been with Montgomery County Hospital District?
20 years.
20 years. Is it 20 years this year?
Yeah, in October it was 20
okay,
years.
20 years this year, so quite a bit of experience. And probably by the time that everybody's worn out and tired, it's really nice to see the Lucas device. So you probably get a lot of applause.
Yeah.
For Lucas device. So not only is her experience welcomed, but she also brings a machine that does CPR for you. So they've been on scene for several minutes, and they've all gotten worn out and tired, and they'll eventually switch over to that device. And they probably took it with them to the hospital just in case they had to start doing CPR again. And so Tammy comes and she gets to be the oversight and the knowledge and experience that kind of, the regulator of the scene. I like it. So thank you so much, Tammy. And how many saves have we gotten to celebrate with you over your years at MCHD?
I don't know.
So more than she can count, I guess. So. So we're really excited to have Tammy here. So, and let me have a plaque. Let me get your plaque. Do you live in Porter? I heard somebody ask you that.
I lived in Porter for 37 years.
Okay, and now you live in?
I live in Shepherd.
Okay.
Dan and I lived in Porter.
Okay.
Together.
Okay. And this young lady is actually who made sure he got here today. So we should all be applauding her too, because she got him to this building today, got him a ride up here. So.
Okay, one more.
When this happened, you wouldn't have had a fire department right around the corner. Had it been home by yourself, you know, it might have been too late for somebody to provide care to you. And so these things happen for a reason, and these events fall into place the way they do. Thank you so much for meeting us today. Tony, you are the woman of the... That's okay. Neither am I.
No, I was just very happy to have you back.
That's okay.
Okay, first of all, your name?
Ashton Herring.
Ash, tell me just briefly what the situation was with this. You got the device a short time later. Just tell me about this.
Yes, so September 14th was our go live date for the Zoll ResQ CPR system, and on September 25th is when Mr. Haldeman went into cardiac arrest and wrecked his vehicle. And Porter Fire Department is one of our 3 fire departments in the county that are using the Zoll ResQ device.
Tell me about the device.
The Zoll ResQ pump is part of the Zoll ResQ CPR system. The pump is what they call an active decompression device. So not only do you use the device to push down on the chest, but then there's a force that's applied upward to pull back on the chest that increases blood flow to the heart, and then that is then pumped and circulated to the body.
It's almost like a toilet plunger.
Yeah, it is. Actually, it was designed after a toilet plunger. There's a comical story, and Zoll would probably be better to tell the story, but some gentleman decided to use a plunger to do CPR, and they started putting the science together and realized that creating more, almost like a vacuum, could potentially create more circulation or better circulation and increase survival.
Okay, sir, what's your name?
Dan Haldeman,
Spell your last name, please.
Haldeman.
Tell me a little bit about the situation, what happened that day. What you remember before, then after this happened.
I remember leaving my home in Shepherd, got to Porter, and I was close to the Home Depot, which was my destination, when I evidently collapsed over the steering wheel and actually crossed the highway in the opposite direction and stopped in a field where EMS took over maybe 3 minutes later. And I don't remember anything that happened from that point.
What's it feel like now meeting all these people, being here, you know, knowing that, you know, you were saved back, that you're able to continue on like this?
That's very heartwarming and blessed feeling to be here and to meet these people, knowing that the majority of people don't survive what I went through.
About recovery time on that after
My recovery time, I was out of the hospital within 1 week.
And the device that you used, you said there was a little bit of an imprint there afterwards. Tell me
There was a small imprint, like it looked almost like a burn mark.
But no pain or anything else afterwards?
No pain from that. I had slight pain on the right ribs from the compressions.
Go ahead.
Okay, so in conventional CPR, we press on the outside of the chest, and while we get some heart filling, it's not a lot, and that's because there's unregulated flow of air back into the chest on the recoil phase. This device is the ResQ pod, which is part of what we're doing, and by putting that on, it decreases the airflow in to improve the bellow effect of CPR. So if you press on it, you have increased heart filling. The next step in this ResQ CPR process is basically a plunger. CPR device It looks differently than this, obviously. But what this does is it utilizes the same concept as the ResQ pod, but, but when you press, you also can pull up past the neutral point to expand the chest further, which enhances the bellow effect that we see with regular CPR.